Now, I was stunned earlier by your conversation with one of my colleagues that you wouldn't even commit to meeting with the survivors, but you did meet with Ghislaine Maxwell. Your claim that you can't meet with these victims because they're represented by counsel is utter nonsense. Counsel can be present or a client can waive their right to have counsel, but you're a lawyer. You know this. That was not truthful, what you said to my colleague. You said that they should meet with the FBI. All of these women have reported their crimes decades ago, but yet you won't meet with them. What you will do is meet with Ghislaine Maxwell. Over a year ago, you sat with her, and you publicly said you were seeking the truth. So let's talk about what that two-day meeting produced.
Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey was not the loudest voice in the room. He was the most prepared. He came with dates, names, court language, and a record. A mayor arrested in Newark. A federal judge's warning. More than 1,200 Justice Department officials raising alarms. Epstein survivors sitting behind him. Files released late. Personal information exposed. Powerful names redacted. And at the center of it all was Todd Blanche, the acting attorney general. Booker had one line of inquiry. Blanche met with Ghislaine Maxwell for 2 days. So what did that meeting produce? A charge, an investigation, a pardon, clemency, a transfer. Watch how Booker builds the timeline.
I met yesterday with Epstein survivors. Some of them are here in the room today. Congress, in a bipartisan fashion, passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act because the American people were demanding justice. Yet you failed to abide by that law and release the files by the deadline established by the law. And when the files were finally released, you failed to protect the survivors that law was intended to protect. Survivors' personal information, including names, phone numbers, home addresses, and images were released. Powerful people were redacted. Survivors were subjected to re-traumatization. More than 1,200 victims, yet only 2 people have ever been prosecuted, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, I was stunned earlier by your conversation with one of my colleagues that you wouldn't even commit to meeting with the survivors, but you did meet with Ghislaine Maxwell. Your claim that you can't meet with these victims because they're represented by counsel is utter nonsense. Counsel can be present or a client can waive their right to have counsel, but you're a lawyer. You know this. That was not truthful, what you said to my colleague. You said that they should meet with the FBI. All of these women have reported their crimes decades ago, but yet you won't meet with them. What you will do is meet with Ghislaine Maxwell. Over a year ago, you sat with her, and you publicly said you were seeking the truth. So let's talk about what that 2-day meeting produced. Did your interview with Ms. Maxwell lead to a single additional person being charged, yes or no?
No.
Did it lead to a single new investigation, yes or no?
I can't talk about whether there's any investigations.
I'm not asking you about an ongoing or closed investigation. I'm just asking you about this unusual.
Your question, yes or no.
Did you or anyone else from the DOJ or associated with the president discuss a presidential pardon with Ghislaine Maxwell or her attorneys?
No.
Did you discuss clemency, yes or no?
No.
Did you discuss...
She was convicted. What do you mean clemency?
Did you discuss her transfer to another institution, yes or no?
No.
Well, just 1 week after your meeting, Ms. Maxwell was transferred from a low-security federal institution to a minimum security prison camp. Were you involved with that transfer?
When, as I've talked about before, in the time leading up to me going down to meet with her, we learned that she was receiving threats. It turned out when we were
I'm going to
there,
interrupt you for a matter of time because...
Okay, well, it's not a question I can answer, apparently, in the time you're giving me.
I'm going to tell you this because I deal with issues of criminal justice. When people are under threats in a Bureau of Prison facility, they're put into solitary confinement or protective. They're not moved to a camp.
That's not always true.
It is.
You're just wrong.
What is true is someone that is accused of child sex trafficking under the Bureau of Prison's own policies is not put in a facility like this that seems clearly like a reward.
What Booker just laid out was not one accusation, it was a contradiction. On one side, survivors. More than 1,200 victims, according to Booker. Women who had already reported crimes. Women still waiting for answers. Women sitting in the room while the Department of Justice was asked to explain what happened to the Epstein files. On the other side, Ghislaine Maxwell. Blanche would not commit to meeting the survivors, but he did meet Maxwell for 2 days. That is the center of the record. Booker asked what the meeting produced. A new charge? No. A new investigation? Blanche would not say. A pardon discussion? No. Clemency? No. A transfer discussion? No. Then came the timeline. 1 week after the meeting, Maxwell was transferred from a low-security federal institution to a minimum-security prison camp. Blanche pointed to threats. Booker answered with prison practice. If someone is under threat, they can be placed in protective custody, but a camp is different. A camp looks different. And in a case built around victims, abuse, secrecy, and power, appearances matter. Because for the public, justice is not only about what the department says, it is about who gets access, who gets protected, who gets redacted, and who gets moved.
The Department of Justice is also responsible that powerful corporations play by the same rules. Let's take a proposed merger between Paramount, Warner Brothers, and Discovery. This is no ordinary transaction. It was a proposed $111 billion merger involving two of the last remaining legacy Hollywood studios. As Deputy Attorney General and later Acting Attorney General, you exercised oversight of the Antitrust Division. You approved the decision to close the department's investigation into that merger, yes or no?
I was part of the decision. I
Yes,
don't know
you were
whether-
involved in that.
You
That
don't
is a
even
yes.
let me answer, man.
Did
That's
the
incredible.
career attorneys
The
who
answer to-
investigated that deal recommend closing that investigation?
I didn't have a conversation with the career, but as I was saying
I didn't
earlier,
ask you
I
that.
was-
I asked you, did the career attorneys who investigated the deal recommend closing the
I
investigation?
have no idea what they
You were in charge of that department, yet you have no idea. Well, this
I didn't
is,
say I had no idea. It's no idea about the question you asked, about what the career attorney's view was.
you do not know what the career attorney's view was.
I'm not sure what the view was with respect to closing it or not closing it.
Let me tell you why ethics laws that bind you about the appearance of impropriety are so damning in this case. On the same day that Paramount shareholders voted to approve the merger, David Ellison, the head of the acquiring company, hosted a dinner that you attended honoring the President of the United States. While you were at that dinner, the DOJ was still investigating a merger. Did you speak with Mr. Ellison on that evening?
No.
Did you discuss with anyone involved in that organization that evening the department's ongoing investigations?
No.
Well, 6 weeks later, after that dinner, that investigation was closed, that you're stating you have no idea if the attorneys in charge even finished their investigation.
That's not what I said.
What did you say?
You asked me a question about whether the attorneys recommended that the investigation be closed, and I said I wasn't sure. That's different than what you just threw back at me.
Do you believe that that creates an appearance of impropriety that you were at a dinner?
No.
Okay. The Justice Department ethics rules are very clear about avoiding the appearance of impropriety. In a case like this, I don't think that's appearance of impropriety. I think that's improper. That the connected and the powerful are getting a chance to rub shoulders. It would seem appropriate that you avoid those kind of appearances and dinners like that.
Every appearance or dinner or speech that I give are cleared by ethics officials.
So your attendance at that dinner was cleared by ethics officials?
Everything that I do.
I didn't ask you everything you do. Was your appearance at that dinner
You
cleared?
can ask the questions, but you cannot control my answers. I'm under oath, and I can answer the questions. I choose to answer them.
Were you
So what I will tell
approved
you
to
is when I do
yes
things
or no?
when I
Were
do
you
things-
approved
when
by
I do
ethics
things
to-
outside of the department, whether it's a speech, whether it's a dinner, whether it's an event, they are approved by ethics officials.
You did not answer whether that attendance was approved.
Every time I go out, it's approved. Yes.
The subject changes, the pattern does not. Booker moves from victims to corporations, from the Epstein files to antitrust power, from a prison transfer to a proposed $111 billion merger involving Paramount, Warner Brothers, and Discovery. And again, he is not asking a random question. He is building a record. Blanche says he was part of the decision to close the Justice Department's investigation. Booker asks whether career attorneys recommended closing it. Blanche says he is not sure. That answer matters, because career attorneys attorneys are supposed to be the institutional spine of the department. They are the people who remain when administrations change. Their judgment is supposed to separate law enforcement from politics. Then Booker adds the timeline. The same day Paramount shareholders approved the merger. According to Booker, David Ellison hosted a dinner honoring President Trump. Blanche attended. At that time, the Justice Department was still investigating the deal. Blanche says he did not discuss the investigation. He says his events are cleared by ethics officials. But the question Booker is pressing is larger than one dinner. It is the appearance of power speaking to power, a powerful company, a pending federal investigation, a dinner honoring the president, and the official overseeing the department under oath, unable or unwilling to say clearly whether career attorneys backed the decision. That is why this exchange matters beyond Washington. If you are an ordinary person, you do not get private access to the people deciding your case. You do not get redactions written around your reputation. You do not get the benefit of vague timelines and closed-door explanations. You get the system as it is. Booker's argument is that the powerful may be getting something else, and in a democracy, that is the danger. Not just corruption proven in a document, but trust lost in a pattern. The record does not need to shout. It only needs to remain.